Stephen Curry. I mean, what more can be said about the guy? Four rings, two MVPs, one unanimous, two-time scoring champ, greatest shooter ever, and one of the best little man finishers to ever play the game. Maybe top five if you ask me. But what's not talked about enough is his last championship and just how impressive it was. Steph Curry, with only one big man, Kevon Looney, who was only 6'10 at that, led a team as a 6'3 guard to the promised land with no other All-Stars that year. Yes, I know Clay and Dre, they had their success in the past, but Dre was so bad in those playoffs that it was multiple times where he was benched and the team looked better without him. Clay, for some weird reason, since he came back from his ACL and Achilles tear, he hasn't been able to throw the ball in the ocean when it mattered most, shooting 29% from the field in the playoffs from the three-point line and 40% from the field altogether.
Here's what makes Steph championship from 2022 so impressive. Not only did he do it with minimum help, and yes, he had minimum help. His second highest scorer averaged 18 points a game. But he did this against the best defensive team in the league easily. This same defense was responsible for shutting down Kevin Durant through 4 straight games. One of the best scorers ever. Couldn't have an efficient game. Stephen Curry, however, was able to maneuver and dissect this defense with ease. He averaged 31 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists on 48, 42, 93 splits. Now, let's put this into perspective. This same defense held Kevin Durant, the 7-foot scoring monster, to 23 points per game on low 40s level efficiency. Also, Kevin Durant had another great scorer with him in Kyrie Irving that was able to take some of the load off of him. There was no great scorer on Steph Curry's side while he straight manhandled this Celtics defense. Not only this, their bench consisted of mainly low-level NBA players and G League players other than Jordan Poole. The bench featured guys like Chris Chiozza, Nemanja Bjelica, Gary Payton, who proved himself to be one of the best defensive players in the league in 2022, but throughout the majority of his career, he had been in the G League. Jonathan Kuminga, a guy who has great potential, but is still too young to truly contribute to a championship-level team as we've seen this year. And also Damian Lee. Damian Lee, which is a tricky situation. He can have games where he looks like a great bench player, but he can also have games where he shouldn't be on the court. Considering all these factors, this is the most impressive championship since the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. He had to go through Nikola Jokic, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, and Jason Tatum to get this ring. All 4 superstars and upcoming players in the league, and Nikola Jokic, a guy who just won the championship this year. This championship pushes Steph Curry into a whole nother level of greatness. A guy who I had top 20 coming into the 2021-22 season has now elevated into the top 10s with guys like Kareem, Magic, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Hakeem. He's right there with those guys, and nobody can deny it. As a matter of fact, he may have the most impressive ring out of all of those guys I just named. Considering all these guys played with an all-time great player who's at least top 50 right now. Steph Curry, however, just won this ring without a single top 75 player to ever play. The only player other to do that is Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki. Impressive, right? Not to mention the fact he may have had one of the greatest achievement seasons of all time, breaking the record for most three-pointers ever made, passing Ray Allen, winning All-Star Game MVP, winning Western Conference Finals MVP, and then topping it off by winning Finals MVP. If this guy Steph Curry wins one more and gets Finals MVP to add along with that, we might have to move him along past Kobe Bryant, the great Kobe Bryant. Both will have 5 rings. Both will have 2 Finals MVPs. But here's the difference maker. Steph Curry has 2 regular season MVPs and a unanimous MVP. Kobe only has 1. That's where the difference will come in. Steph Curry had a higher peak, yes, a higher peak than even Kobe Bryant, and one of the greatest seasons ever, winning 73 games. And I'm mentioning this because all this will have to be taken into factor when we announce and compare these 2 players. But give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know where you would rank Steph Curry in this championship that he just won. Was it impressive to you? Which ones do you think are more impressive? Let me know. Follow me. Subscribe. Thank you very much.